Hello and welcome to Crypto Weeklies. Today we have a new model for MicroStrategy. We'll be discussing based on the regression based analysis and this DCA model, which is dollar cost average based model. None of the content is financial advice. Let's get started. The basis of this model is Bitcoin purchase made by MicroStrategy since August 2020. That's the first time they made a Bitcoin purchase, and we'll be analyzing their stock since that point in time. And again, this stocks currently is acting as a proxy for Bitcoin. We'll do a machine learning based price forecast, some brief retirement related updates, retirement model for MicroStrategy related updates. This is till 2040, and now starting with our new model, which is the dollar cost average related model. This is available for all major cryptos on our website cryptoweeklies.com. The link is on the bottom of your screen. So let's get started. This website is available for free for all. This is the price color coded with risk. With risk between levels between 0 and 1. 1 denotes high risk, 0 denotes low risk, based on how the price is doing with respect to the fair value regression, polynomial regression based trend line. So let's get started. Right now the price of MicroStrategy is coming in somewhere at around $334 from its highs of about $463. That represents a solid drop. And for this analysis we use daily average price. We do not use the wicks or the candles, but an average daily price. Again, that price was peaked in November of 2024, again on 20th of November of 2024 at around $473. For reference, if you go to the daily chart of MicroStrategy over here, you can see that on November 20th of 2024, although the 21st November had a daily wick all the way to about $500, you can see that the average price for that day was lower than the average price for the prior day, for the prior day the peak was at around $473. Since then, MicroStrategy did take a breather and had a series of lower highs and lower lows. So right now the risk level is coming in at close to 1/3, at around 37%. And what does it mean in the overall scheme of things? Again, you can see per this model, the model, if the hypothesis is DCAing out of the market whenever the risk levels are, let's say, more than 70%, this model does enable identifying those zones where the risks are elevated. And the opposite of this is if the hypothesis is to only dollar cost average whenever the risks are less than 10%. Again, these are the days where the risk per the regression based model have been sufficiently diminished, and you can see DCAing at that point in time or dollar cost averaging at that point is definitely not the worst idea. Again, if you increase your risk tolerance to about 20%, again you would get this model. This is a live model. Again, this does not retroactively fit data. That by that I mean, again, you could leverage this model based on your own risk tolerance. Again, if your risk tolerance is anything above below 30% risk, again essentially DCAing and avoiding DCAing at the peaks, at the local peaks. Right now the risks are somewhere between 30% and 40%. Again, over here risks are dropping. So the next key risk levels could be at around $300. And again, you can see that at any point in time, again, this model does help establish what could be the prices at some of the key risk level. If the price were to come back to $318 per this model, that would represent a return to the slightly lower than 30% risk. And if you are looking for this model to help establish what could be theoretical targets for MicroStrategy, if and when it were to hit some of the key risk levels such as 50% risk, 80% risk, usually peaks occur at around between 80% and 100% risk. That 80% risk based price is somewhere close to $500. So that is one moderate target for MicroStrategy. This is not a machine learning price forecast for eventual peaks for MicroStrategy. This is just a risk reward based analysis where a $500 MicroStrategy stock would be considered per the model at around 80% risk, and a $570 stock would be close to 100% risk. And again, we know that whenever the prices do eventually hit this 80 to 90% band, they take a breather of of almost from here from March of 2024 till about November of 2024 did take somewhere between 11 minus 3, that is about 8 months of a breather between those two major rallies. And again, the next rally that MicroStrategy did have in November peaked at around 80% risk level, roughly speaking. So if MicroStrategy were to rally to that 80% risk level right now, that corresponds to about a slightly higher valuation at around $500 as a daily average. That could mean that the wick, the delta between the daily average and the wick is last time around was $80. So if you add roughly 80 to $90 on top of that $500, you get somewhere close to $580 or $70. So that is one way to interpret these models, and again leverage them in your own analysis. And the way to interpret, again another way to interpret is looking at all of the risk bands, and going back to again this risk price color coded with respect to risk, and analyzing whenever the regression peaks occur. By that I mean, again in this shape of polynomial regression based model, there are instances where the price not only goes higher than the fair value, but also higher than the 2 standard deviation residual applied to the fair value. And at those phases, whenever the price is sufficiently above this dotted red line, that's also a good topping indicator. At this point in time, this topping indicator is coming in at around $474 for MicroStrategy, and that's roughly speaking about $150 away from the current price of MicroStrategy. So that's about $150 worth of wiggle room between the current price and at this point in time what this peak could be. The beauty of this chart is it gets updated every single day on cryptoweeklies.com website, and you can see the latest reading of the regression based 2 standard deviation regression based regression valuation. So let's say if we are in February or something, and or March, this value, the dotted red line, could be extended as to about $500 or $550. So that's again one level of confluence. If we go and check MicroStrategy's machine learning based price forecast, and for a moment just ignore this bull case but rely more on the base case for MicroStrategy, the 6 months forecasted by the machine learning model are price action between $350 and about $588 for the and to the downside, the bear case scenario is between $151 and about $279. And again, these values are not set in stone for the entirety of 6 months. You can see that week by week they keep on changing, and they have a non-linear relationship. So these values are also available at the bottom of the screen in a tabular format. The base case is this pink line that we discussed. This is in this column for week by week, and to its left was that bear case at 68 percentile, that is the green line. Right now the bull case at 68 percentile is out of scope because again the model does not take into consideration the rally that MicroStrategy did have from $14 to all the way to about $400. So that the remainder of the bull run could be a chop to about that $590 per my interpretation of the model, at least at this phase of the market cycle. Looking at the retirement related model for MicroStrategy, this is just a simulation using compound annual growth rate with a condition that every 4th year the price drops by about 50 to 60%. So the basis for this drop is the use of Bitcoin market cycle. Again, MicroStrategy is a proxy for Bitcoin. So 2020, if you take the returns from 2020 to 2025, you would encounter that there is a one bear market year. So this is positive returns of about 300% in 2020, in 2021 up by about 60%, in 2022 that was the bear market year, down by about 65%, and in 2023 up by about 150%. In 2024 pretty similar to 2023, up by about 111%. So you get the idea. Also you could get the similar phase from 2015 to 2019. Again, you look at 2016 up, 2017 up by a lot, and then back in 2018 again a bear market year. So every 4 year or so, if you look at 2018 and then 2022 and potentially in 2026, Bitcoin does go down in that year. So simulating that kind of a behavior for MicroStrategy with slightly elevated volatility takes you to this kind of forecast. Again, assuming that for 2025 MicroStrategy stock does go to about 750 or 772 $75, simulating that compound annual base growth rate from a bear market drop of about 50%, that is at around $388, from that to 2029 about $1,200, in 2033 at around $1,800, the stock price in 2037 at around $2,700. And the purpose of this analysis is to identify the number of shares needed to be a MicroStrategy millionaire at any case. So for example, in that bull case at around 45% growth in the non-bear market years and 50% decline in the bear market years, the number of MicroStrategy stock needed again in 2025 around 1,200 shares, in 2029 at around 850 shares, in 2033 at around 550 shares, in 2037 at around 350 shares, and in 2040 again roughly slightly less than 350 shares, gets you to that millionaire status. And with this we can conclude the video by saying that the first target for MicroStrategy is Confluent at around between $550 and $580, and the estimated bull run case is at around $770 for this bull run. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please give us a like and subscribe, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.